Good morning. I thought he was going to steal my thunder there for a second because uh, if you do remember last Sunday, he mentioned that he wanted people to sign up for the testimonies, and he found one in the bathroom. So I'm the volunteer that he found in the bathroom to do his testimony today. Now, I'm not going into details what we were doing in the bathroom, because what happens in the men's bathroom stays in the men's bathroom. But I will give this out. If he starts hanging around the women's bathroom for testimonies, then Houston, we have a problem. This is both a testimonial and a praise as to what has happened in my life in the recent months. So, go back in the old time machine here. Christmas. It's the time of our Savior's birth. Families getting together. Presents. Church plays. Santa Claus. You all get the point. For me as a child, Christmas meant all these things and a little more. When I was old enough, it became my job to put up the tree and decorate it. Then I would help my dad. We'd decorate a tree that was put outside in our front yard. And he had made some carolers out of plywood. And so we'd shine a big old light on, looked like an airport. We shined this big old spotlight on them. And at Christmas time was exciting and joyous for me as it was for most kids, for a lot of you possibly grown up. Then I got older. Tree wasn't being put up anymore. The outside decorations became more of a hassle than a pleasure. I got married a year after high school, which was 1979. Yeah, I heard Buddy there. Oh, he is old. After our first daughter was born in 1984, Christmas was once again back on the table. Lights, trees, Santa, presents, but not the real purpose of that time of year. 2 years later, we had another daughter, but the Christmas message still didn't change. Then, in 1989, there was a change. By September of that year, I was divorced. The next month, my grandpa died. In November, my mother had to put my it's been that long, dad into a nursing home. Then early on the morning of Christmas Day, my dad suffered a stroke and died. The joy of Christmas for me had changed. In 1991, I met another love of my life who was divorced, had 2 small children. Again, the Christmas season was one of the worldly rewards and not the true meaning. As the kids in this marriage became older, Christmas became just another day off from work, time with the family. Not even a tree was put up. This marriage ended in 1999. Alcohol was a big part in my life, and that contributed to my failed marriages, along with the fact, I believe, that my 2 spouses were non-believers. I believed in God and Jesus Christ, but it wasn't until I started coming here that I understood the difference between a believer and a follower. Charlie Brown Christmas, one of the classic Christmas shows of all time, right up there with Die Hard. In the show, Lucy is starring as the Christmas Queen in the school play. Little did I know that would affect me in my life for years to come. January 1st, 2001, I met the true love of my life, and we've been together ever since. Now, this was a God-thing encounter and a whole nother testimony. I could run through it in 30 seconds. My wife, like 30 minutes of how we met. So that's a whole nother testimony. Since we met after Christmas, little did I know what I'd got myself into until that following Christmas. I had fallen in love with the Christmas Queen. Betty's birthday is Christmas Eve. So as a child, this time of year was a little different because she never really celebrated a birthday. But hey, who better else to share one with? Her main forte, however, is her love for decorating. Not only the tree, but the rest of the house. Noticed I said her forte. Mine is to try and avoid this chore, but for the last 20 years, I haven't been able to avoid this yet. As I said before, she is the love of my life, and she is a believer and was raised as such. Through her, I've been growing deeper in the faith and slowly starting to enjoy this time of year again, but it's still difficult. November 13th of this year, we were attending the K-State football game. As usual, we went down the night before, went out for supper, went to the game the next day. While we were at our seats and during the start of the game, I noticed that Betty wasn't feeling right. I asked if anything was wrong, and at first she said she just had a hot flash and she was just taking it easy. Not long after she had said this, she was getting another one. Only this time, she was having difficulty breathing and some pressure on her chest. The game was not that important anymore. Just behind where we sit is the elevator, and sitting next to it is stationed an EMT. I helped my wife out of her seat and took her to get checked out. I'm not going into great detail here on what the rest of the day was like, only to say that she was moved from this location on a gurney, along with 2 more EMTs, down to the first aid station where they did the initial EKG scan, then an ambulance ride to the hospital under the pretext that she was having a heart attack. Once at the hospital, I was not allowed to go back with her. In this day of age, I was probably lucky that they even allowed me in the building. But I was told to wait in the ER waiting room. This is the 3rd time in 18 months that my wife has been in the ER. Some of you, I'm sure, have been in this situation, and it's scary. A world of uncertainty and at times lonely. These were the feelings that I was experiencing, and I'm probably safe in saying Betty's as well. By the time I was able to see her, she looked exhausted. They had her hooked up to a couple IVs, had taken blood and an x-ray, and we were just waiting for the results. Now for the praise part of this testimony. When all the test results came back, everything looked normal. No damage to the heart, and best of all, no heart attack. The only thing that was indicated is her blood pressure was a little high. Other than that, she was going to be dismissed and sent home. The doctor did, however, recommend that she see her regular physician, which she has done, and she recently did a stress test, which confirmed in part that her heart is okay, however, that she may have some blockage starting, but she is to see a cardiologist at the end of this month for this. When this was happening on the 13th, I was a mess. One of the first thoughts that ran through my mind was, why, God, would you just give me 20 years with this wonderful woman? Even though this was a stressful time in our lives, I knew that I had to put my trust and faith in Him and let Him work. After that, I immediately started contacting family and then Pastor Jesse. It was on this day that the youth group was having their garage sale, and when it was announced what was happening to us, Those who were here formed prayer circles and prayed for Betty's recovery. We can't express enough to those involved with that our deepest gratitude and blessing. So in conclusion, on behalf of Betty and myself, we would like to express to all the CrossRoads family here and watching at home a Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night.